Hi, good morning. My name is Vivian Lopez, and I want to say thank you for considering me to join your teaching program. I'm looking forward to graduating and going to teach junior high math. Today I'm going to be answering about 4 questions that I hope will help you decide to pick me as a candidate for your teaching program. I want to start with how I came into teaching. And the reason I came into teaching was because I started being a substitute teacher a few years back. I work for Katy ISD. I have enjoyed substituting. And now that I am done raising my family, I have the time to pursue my own goals. And this is one of the goals that I want to accomplish and hopefully go on to teach basic math skills to junior high children. Something that is a strength for me, I think, is the fact that I see people as human beings, and I understand that we all have our own experiences, and that I cannot expect people to be like me or to think like me because based on their prior experiences, they have their own story, and they have their own experiences, and they have their own choices. And respecting the fact that we all have choices, I think it's a positive quality that I possess. I think this will help me with the students because being accepting of them is really important so that I can build, a positive environment in the classroom, and also not expecting them to be like me, knowing that they don't hold the same values as me because we come from diverse backgrounds. Knowing that and understanding that, I think it's of great value so that we can value diversity and respect diversity and honor their identity. Another thing that I feel is a strength is the fact that I'm a good listener, and I feel very confident that I have high expectations for my students, and that as a future teacher, I can lead my classroom and, help them to achieve their goals of, learning math and hopefully moving on to higher levels of math. Something that it might be a weakness for me is, I have to admit, is that I tend to be a perfectionist, and I like everything in its place, and I like a place for everything. But after having raised a family, you get to understand that not everything is going to be in its place, and that it's okay to be that way, that it's part of life because children come first before things. And so minding the children is priority over, things being orderly and organized and neat. And besides, it's a lot of fun, to learn and make a mess sometimes. So learning to live, good enough alone is a quality that I think I've learned through raising children. And also it's going to help me be accepting of my students and not expect them to be perfect also. Now, when it comes to weaknesses, I think one of my weaknesses will be learning to lead with enthusiasm. You see, I'm the type of person that is content to be by herself Or I can also, I'm a good listener, so I can, I'm content listening to someone. I can do those things. But in regards to being enthusiastic and jumping for joy, that's not my nature. I tend to be quiet and reserved. But I've come to understand that, being a teacher, I'm gonna have to learn to be enthusiastic when I get in front of the classroom. I'm gonna have to be excited for math. I'm gonna have to be excited so that my students can be excited about math. And so learning, to let out my joyful side is something that I'm working on, and I think that I can do it by the time that I graduate. So I'm slowly progressing and moving along. Part of that has been the fact that so that I can learn to relate with my students, I am starting to look into things that my students may find interesting. What's important to them, getting to know their culture, what kinds of things do they find interesting, and so forth. What kinds of books are they reading? So that in learning all this will come in handy so that I can, learn to relate with them better. In regards to having a situation where I was given feedback that was not positive, I think I'm at a point in my life where I've come to understand that everyone has an opinion. And at the same time, an opinion is not a fact. So learning to know the difference between an opinion and a fact, and knowing that just because someone has an opinion doesn't necessarily mean that it's a fact, and that it's okay for them to have opinions different than mine. I think if someone gives me feedback and it's positive, that's great and that's exciting. But it's also great and exciting if they give me negative feedback, because then I can question myself, being introspective and question whether that is true or not. And if it's true, hopefully it'll help me change my ways. And if it's not true, I'll just, put it in a box and say, they're entitled to their opinion, and let's just move on. And that helps with the students, because some students are not going to think like I think, and that's part of diversity, and I understand that, and I think that's a valuable thing to have, because diversity is what makes things exciting. It's what makes things different in a classroom. In regards to having a teacher that impacted my education, I had one when I was in elementary school, and I still remember her. What I loved about this teacher was that when she saw you, she was so happy to see you. She made you feel welcome. She made you feel wanted. She made you feel like she was happy to be there sharing her day with you. And so I hope that as a teacher, I am able to impact those same feelings to my students, by building a positive classroom, also addressing how to address each other in a respectful way, so that we can, have boundaries and be respectful to each other, so that we can have create a space where we can feel safe and be free to learn and ask questions. In regards to being a teacher, I am so excited and I am so looking forward to it. The hard thing about being a substitute teacher is that you don't get to see the same kids all the time. So it's hard to build relationships with them. Some of them, sometimes will come into my classroom and they'll come in and they'll say, Miss, can we have lunch with you in here? I'll say, yeah, no problem. Sometimes they'll do that. But sometimes I'll see them for a few days, but then I won't see them for a very long time. So being a teacher it's just exciting to know that I'm going to have my own classroom and I'm going to have my own group of kids that, we can share and grow and learn together. Thank you so much for considering me as a candidate for your teaching program, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a good day. Thank you.